So
this is unbelievable.
I respect marriage.
Can
Do
we
you
respect
the government? That's what we keep asking
When
you.
it benefit me? Duh. When I get that Trump check and them Joe Biden tax credits.
And it says,
I wish I would have got them Joe Biden tax credits on my actual, like, I don't need that extra money during the year. Like,
you need it at the end?
I need it at the end. I want all my money all at once.
That's your savings bank.
Exactly.
Your savings
just take
and
that
loan.
money and just put it in my savings
That's my
account.
savings and loan. Okay.
Yeah.
Every year the government
Don't give it to me.
saves
That money
the
be spent because it's like, oh, let me figure out what else
you
I can
finish
spend
it.
on.
Yeah, you finish it at
Yeah,
front.
give
You
me all
finish
at the one
you
time.
You go to Walmart and you say, well, I can pick up an extra. Next thing you know,
let me tell you something. I can hold on to some money, honey. But
Wally
when it's
World will take a cover charge from you. It used to be
Exactly.
$50. Now it's $100. Don't go in there unless you got $100. Because no matter what you're gonna pick up a few things for, you're gonna spend $100.
I was on Facebook and they had like a bag of groceries and it was like this big on the meme. $200.
No, that one is not as funny as the one I saw where the person said they put in $5 on pump 5. They want to know where they going from pump 5 to pump 6. Welcome to another episode of Diva Court.
Is that going to be on the
I'm your host, Marsha Mignot, and with me is my co-diva. I have no idea who she is. Diva Applications coming to YouTube.
Just call me D.
D's nuts.
That's a shout out to the 90s since the 90s is coming back.
Okay, this is Dana, tire slashing Smith listeners. That's who is in the house. We're not responsible for the things she's going to say.
True that.
Nor do we believe half of what she's going to talk about.
Facts and evidence.
Because this show is for edutainment purposes only. So don't look for ownership of the rights to any of the stories or topics we're going to talk about. We don't own them and we don't want to buy them. Thank you.
Don't want them.
Keep your receipts and your invoices to yourself. Please look for our videos every week. We push them out on Wednesday. You're going to find those on YouTube. But before you go to YouTube, check us out on Spotify. Find us on Apple Podcasts. And Google Podcasts. This episode is sponsored by Cutie Nails and Spa in Midtown. They're offering manicures. Pedicures.
Yes, ma'am.
Facials.
Those two.
And lashes. Enjoy a spa experience at Cutie Nails and Spa and let a team of cuties take care of you. No harem. George Foreman, listeners, has been sued for sexual assault in California. Now, the lawsuit is based on alleged conduct in the 1970s. Can anybody remember what they had on yesterday? Because I sure can't. This is a laughable lawsuit, in my opinion. In fact, it's based on the fact that California has changed the laws to say that if you suffered sexual abuse when you were a child, they've moved the needle and now you're no longer barred by the statute of limitations.
They're making it
Let me tell you something. Everything need a limit here.
And they're making it very hard for you to just trust victims.
You're really right. You know that. You really are correct. She's correct.
Let's move the bar. Trust victims.
Yeah.
Just trust whatever they say.
I think there has to be a statute of limitations on everything because it would be unfair for me to wait until you either become a star or become wealthy and then I come for you. Like I could have an allegation.
In this case, become senile. It was like, all right, 20. All right, you still a little scared. 30. It's a little fuzzy. Maybe you don't want to share it because you kind of moved on with your life. 40. You're still thinking about it. George Foreman's looking pretty good. He got
the grill is selling.
Coming out. 50, you're like, you know what? I could probably have got some of that grill money.
Yes.
60, it's time. Like, sit your ass down somewhere. If you did get plucked, touched, or
something,
then
now is
just
not
take
the
it.
time.
Just take it. Just take it. Your day,
your situation has expired.
it's expired. Just like them eggs. They're done. Okay? They're done.
Scrambled they would be.
Oh,
73
man.
years of age George Foreman is. And you expect him now. He probably has dementia or some form of it. Because remember, he was hit in the head a lot.
Parkinson's.
Why are you putting this disease on this man?
I'm just saying, if you think about as you age, listeners,
Yes.
as you age, your memory goes.
It does.
You have people who are going, oh my God, did I turn the stove off? They're not demented. They're not diagnosed with any dementia. Or they say, darn it, I said I was going to call to make that appointment today. I forgot. There's so many things as you age as it pertains to memory that fades. Not maliciously, not because you've been diagnosed, but just because that's how the brain works. You now expect this man to go dig up the archives of his memory and find where he was on the date that you're gonna allege, and then you claim in the allegation that he was grooming you. He took a long time to groom you. If you had to wait till your 60s to bring an action against this man. Boy, that grooming period was long, wasn't it?
And strong. So what's the difference between this and Kavanaugh?
It really is no different. So I need the Republicans that saved Kavanaugh to come save George.
So did you believe that
what was alleged against Justice Kavanaugh occurred?
Yeah.
Yes, I did. Do I believe that any action should be taken? No, I do not. And I am no Kavanaugh fan. I believe he should not have been a justice based
off of that?
Based off of it. Here's why I say that. Because the justice's position requires even the avoidance of the appearance of impropriety. Remember, as lawyers and judges, they tell us avoid even the appearance of impropriety.
He was never tried in court.
The man said,
no charges were put against him.
Yeah, but remember, when you're looking for a clean slate, employers do this all the time. Here's what your employer will do. We did your background check and we see something out there looking like aggravated. Okay then.
He was like, we see that you were arrested for solicitation. And I said, Dad,
how could you?
You was too old to be out here prostituting
in these streets.
He's like, no, Dana, no, it wasn't prostitution. That's how he talked. No, Dana, it wasn't prostitution.
That's not it.
I would never do that. Well, Dad, I don't know, solicitation. What you do? Oh, I'm sorry. Were you the John? Like, were you trying to get the No, Dana, it wasn't like that. It was because I was trying to get rides when I was at the airport. I said, we need to look that up, honey. Because
you said rides at the airport.
How you
get solicitation for that?
Solicitation, this statute says some type of John or prostitution type situation. So we need to look it up. But come to find out,
he was trying to run a taxi at the airport, and Uber wasn't legal then.
No, Uber
and he was
legal.
playing Uber, and they charged him with solicitation.
They did.
They should have put of passengers.
Exactly,
but they did not, and he got charged. And an employer hired him and fired him, right?
They sure did.
Picked him up and let him go.
He got his job back.
Of course, he has to get it back because he went and got the documents to show. No, it's not solicitation for prostitution.
I was like, that was probably real big at the airport, prostitution and Johnin.
No, but think about it. Had he not pursued it, how many people just get frustrated and say, I just didn't get that job, and I'm gonna apply for the next one. I just didn't get that job, and I'll apply for the next one. So my point to tie it back to your question about Kavanaugh and why I thought he should avoid it is because employers use it all the time.
But he didn't have a record though, so it wasn't like
but your dad didn't have a record.
He did.
No,
it was on his back.
No. It shows because remember, when you're arrested, you have an arrest record.
He pled guilty too.
Oh, Dad made a mistake.
So that's why I said, and you pled guilty. It said you said guilty to solicitation, which obviously you had to be by a prostitute. And he was like, no, it was for rides to the airport. I don't know, Dad.
That don't sound like a ride. Not that kind of ride.
Even though I knew he was an airport
Employee.
taxi. No, not employee. He was in Detroit. He will be picking gypsy for the most part.
Yeah.
He's a gypsy. Yeah, but anyways, I say that to say Kavanaugh.
You're saying Kavanaugh wasn't arrested?
No, he wasn't arrested. There was no charges. There was no.
My issue is just the appearance. To have someone here's the risk. Assuming arguendo, just assuming her allegation was true. Can we have someone? Because remember, because of the time frame, we can't adjudicate it. Right? It's too old.
I got something.
Can we have someone who actually engaged in some nefarious conduct sit in judgment in such a high position of authority that can affect the lives of the entire American population and all countries connected to it?
Well, see, this is America, and in America, you're innocent until proven guilty. And because there was no type of, when she was in college, she didn't go and say, hey, this happened, and reported it.
But she did.
She reported to her psychologist years ago.
And her friend.
Years later.
No. While she was in college, but the friend didn't do anything.
Well, we don't know.
Don't tell anybody. Women do that all the time.
No.
Don't tell anybody.
Allegedly, she reported to her friend, but her friend didn't come to testify to say that's what happened.
Would you with that lynch mob that was waiting?
Well, there's that. But so I don't know her to tell the truth. I don't know her from the.
She appeared credible. And here's why I think she appeared credible.
All I'm saying
she knew she couldn't have any charges pressed against him. She knew that she was going to be attacked. She knew that it could ruin.
You talking about back then?
No. I'm talking about now.
No, what I'm saying is back when it happened, she didn't feel.
Oh, it was legal back then.
Yeah, I think he freaked her on the bed.
It was legal
allegedly.
Back then. Come on now. They would say,
he didn't penetrate her.
Look,
he didn't.
You know better than wear that short skirt. That's what they were saying back then.
No.
If you got sexually assaulted, they were saying things like, hey, what did you do to cause him to do that to you?
On school days when they was doing the butt down. That's what it was. Their song was playing. That's what happened. She's like, oh, he freaked me. She got some freaky dance moves, and she said she was sexually assaulted.
So my point is,
so no, we can't take away this man's job.
Well, he kept his job. I
know, but he should not have not been able to get it. Like, I know somebody who.
I think Clarence Thomas shouldn't have gotten his either when Anita Hill made the accusation. And now, based on his history, I believe Anita Hill. Back then, I did not believe Anita Hill, but I was way young.
Why you didn't believe her?
Because I was young, and I just felt like she was younger? No, because I felt like she was attacking him only because he was in a position, he was now going to get a promotion. And I felt like it was haterade. How some people wait till you.
But why
did
you think that though?
Like, people don't have no problem with you. And if you make it big on Diva Court, they'd be like, okay, Dana said something to hurt my feelings in 1963. Dana wasn't even born in 63. Oh, it was 73.
Oh, so is that what happened with her? She got
No. She is saying, they said that Anita Hill did not make the allegations against Clarence Thomas until after she found out he was engaged to a white woman. His wife.
That makes sense. So I believe Anita Hill now. I believe Anita Hill. That's all you had to say.
So what took me so long? What took me so long?
You should have started there.
They said that was revenge because they were in a relationship, and then Clarence Thomas moved on and decided he was going to be engaged and married a white woman.
I believe her now.
So that's why I did not believe her, because I felt like it might have been, assuming that story was true, a retaliation for, okay, so you're not going to marry me? Yep. I'll show you. You will not be Supreme Court Justice. But he's still up there making a mockery of the court system. Mm-hmm. Black pastor arrested for watering his neighbor's flowers. You can be driving while black, walking while black, singing while black,
and now
watering flowers
while black,
sleeping in your bed while black.
When we say watering the flowers, we're not talking about urination.
Nope, literally using a water hose to water the neighbor's flowers. All right, what are we talking about? There was a black pastor whose neighbors went on vacation. And when they went on vacation, like he always does, because he's friends with the neighbors, and they happen to be white. And he goes over and takes care of their flowers so their flowers don't die while they're on vacation. While he's watering the flowers, another white female neighbor, Karen, or Karan.
No, Karan.
Or Karina.
She would have to have a little bit more melanin.
She decides to call the police and says there's somebody suspicious. I wonder what was suspicious about somebody watering the flowers. Even if she didn't know who that was, the fact that they weren't trying to break into the house, that their vehicle was in the driveway with the license plate on it, you wouldn't say, who would drive to somebody's house and start watering their flowers instead of breaking in? I didn't see anything criminal yet. So wouldn't you watch to see what he was doing, or go be nosy and take a look? Oh, that's Pastor so-and-so from across the street. I know who that is. And not call the police. No, because I saw black skin. And as soon as I saw black skin, the best thing to do is call law enforcement to come down here and gun him down. Law enforcement shows up. Dumb. Yeah, they were dumb. They go over to him and say, hey, buddy, what are you doing? The man says, watering these flowers. Can I see your ID? No, I'm not going to show you ID. I'm over here watering flowers. I haven't done anything criminal. What are you talking about? Who are you? I'm Pastor so-and-so. I'm across the street. These are my neighbors. They're on vacation. I'm watering the flowers. No, we need to see ID. I'm not about to show y'all ID. Get out of here. I'm on private property. In fact, the law in the state is that if you're on private property, you do not have to show law enforcement ID. So he was not on public property. And it's any private property. Doesn't have to be your private property. So law enforcement does what? Come here, buddy. Come here. Starts walking after the man. Takes the man into custody. The neighbor comes out who calls the police and says, oh, my bad. I am so sorry I caused all these problems. I do know him. He is friends with them. He's pastor. I'm so sorry. The wife goes and get his ID and says, here's his license. He actually is a pastor. And they say, sorry, we already got the cuffs on you. Can't take them off. These keys only work one way. At the jail.
They magically come on.
Pastor is arrested. What's your take, Diva? Talk about the pastor.
I have another story.
When you tell me about the pastor first.
That sucked. Sorry for him. But to my story, that really did work for me. I didn't even know that was the law. I was on private property. I busted out somebody's window. I was bleeding and everything.
Wow.
And
so you committed a crime.
Allegedly.
Oh, no. Oh, she did it because I got this. But allegedly I did. The statute of limitations passed. It was a long time
ago.
know?
Okay.
It was a long time ago.
You sure the state didn't extend it?
Yeah, remember that California extended it.
I honestly don't think they're going to expedite me from another
expedite
state.
You. No, but they'll extradite you.
Expeditiously.
Expeditiously.
Probably in an expedition.
They will be expeditiously expediting.
I see what you did there. But anyways, so I'm in the car, about to go, and the police pulled up. And the police was like, ma'am, and I did not have my driver's license on me.
So you put out your white card?
This is what I said.
You pulled out your white privilege card.
Like, ma'am, we need to see your ID. I said, for what? And we need to see your ID. We ran your name and your name, Danielle Moore, and you supposed to have warrants out. And I said, that ain't my name. Because it wasn't. It was my sister's name. So that's not my name.
You are out here snitching.
She don't have no warrants anymore.
Wow. That's how this goes.
She did her time allegedly.
She did her time for her crime. But they was like, man, we need to see your... No, you're not seeing my ID. I didn't do nothing. You're not about to ask me for my ID. And
then they dropped her to the ground, stepped on her back, cracked it, and she ain't been staying.
And then she was like, it's so much stuff that I have to.
We're going to have to move on from this stuff.
This is more of a private story.
Hey,
but anyways, let me just tell this last part. So I went off on her. And I said, oh, you can't tell me the law because I'm a criminal justice minor. I told her. You can't. That's what I think I knew she couldn't arrest me. I said, you can't arrest me. You can't tell me the law. I'm a criminal justice minor.
I'm a minor, baby.
And I got you're lucky that your arm is bleeding, so I'm gonna let you go. Well, no, oh, okay.
Wow.
Well, thank you. I got in that car and I pulled off. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, you could have gone to jail.
Because all they had to see was that busted window. Because it was right there.
We know where the blood
And
came
then
from.
the person who
man.
called the police on me, like, you really let them run up into, oh, you want to check somebody? That's what I told him. I said, why don't you go check that house? Go check the house. Go check the house. You want to check somebody. Why don't you go up in that house and check it?
Oh, my word. Miss Minor, I'm going to need you to major in the law.
I have a minor in criminal justice.
You would've
and
had
I
a-
know my rights. That's what I said.
You would have had a major problem at it.
She knew that she couldn't just arrest me because she knew about them private property laws.
That's
that
because
I did not know.
she was
that
like,
I did not know.
that you were just talking.
This crazy bloody woman ain't worth the time.
I don't want to get blood on me today.
You like
It was almost quitting time for her. That's
yeah.
why.
It was like
No, she just didn't want to put on no
it was
gloves.
She
right
said, I don't want to go get the gloves out the car.
It was
No
just
thanks.
right here.
No thank
And
you.
then she was just like, you're lucky you're bleeding because I would have took you to jail.
You don't have any gloves in your police car?
She ain't want no smoke. She know I wasn't going out without a fight.
Well,
I probably
Pastor
would've
has
been
hired a lawyer,
You
listeners.
would have definitely cried.
I don't know. I probably I was no.
Oh, you
No, I would have been fighting. I was already mad.
oh, you'd have
like,
picked up extra charges.
I probably would have had a couple more
Okay,
charges.
okay.
I'd have been
Destruction of government property.
I'd have been
resisting-
resisting arrest.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
would have
The whole
resisting arrest would
shebang.
have nothing on me.
Yeah, you would have had the works.
I had
the
my mama
works.
car and everything. Like
It would have been impounded, Mom. The car would have been gone. Okay, bye.
But look, I wasn't driving, so she couldn't get me on no moving violation.
Thank you, Lord.
She couldn't. I wasn't in the car, so she couldn't ask me for my. She literally couldn't because I
Thank
didn't
you,
get in
Lord.
the car or was sitting down or anything like that. I was
Praise
like
the
right
Lord.
outside of the car. Like you can't ask me for. you
That
can't
was
ask
your
me for
lucky
nothing.
day, sis.
It was. I was. My
Won't he-
criminal justice minor came into I'm a criminal justice minor. I go to college, and you're not gonna be able to tell me anything.
Thank goodness. Won't he do it?
Won't he do it? Won't he do
So
it?
Pastor is gotten a lawyer.
He must be a
and
criminal
they're gonna
justice
file.
minor.
No, he said a major. It's gonna be a criminal justice major check.
You're going to have a major problem. Keep coming at me.
I don't know how much that check's going.
Hey, let me tell you
About
something. They're
$2.
gonna cut it. They're gonna cut
You
it.
think they going to cut
They
a
gonna
check
cut
for
it.
what?
They gonna cut it because it's false arrest. Remember, they didn't just let him go.
10
It's not
grand.
like they investigated.
10 grand.
No, but they false imprisoned that man. Come on,
10
man.
grand.
You took him to jail anyway.
Kidnapping.
You booked him.
That's what kidnapping. That's what he needs. I'm filing charges against
Accounts. He needs
Can you
account
do
for
that, though?
kidnapping. He needs to.
Can you file
cannot.
They have immunity.
For kidnapping.
Not against the
They
state,
have
no.
immunity.
A little bit.
Sovereign immunity.
Captivity, slavery.
Yeah. Remember, they didn't get charged for that.
Low key.
They kidnap
if you
people
arrest
from
me
Africa.
for no reason and take me to jail to be held captive and then force me to make license plates, that is called slavery.
It's called indentured servitude.
Yes.
Because I pay you a small amount.
What do they? Oh, they do. Pay.
Yeah, they do pay you.
Is that why they pay? Because slavery is
Yes,
illegal.
because-
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
that's
I gotta cut you a check.
exactly
I got to cut
what
you a
had
check.
happened.
All right,
I
Pastor.
mean, it's like 3 cents on the dollar.
What do you mean 3 cents on the dollar? I think they
What
got
does that
$3.
even mean? What's
No,
3
no, no,
Isn't
no.
it like
It's about-
$5?
mm-mm,
It's about
3
$5.
cents.
It's about 3
I thought it was $5.
No, it's
$5 win.
for the
When you
license
do
plate
like
pressing.
when you do like 3,000, you get $5.
No. Maybe a day. $5 a day.
No, it ain't
For
$5.
license plate
That's too
pressing.
much.
I think it's changed.
It
It's
is.
they get paid though. They get paid.
I don't recall if I know it's not minimum wage,
No, it's not minimum wage. It's not.
which is unruly.
Low key, they might have a labor law against them.
No, they need to pass
They
one.
do.
You need legislation.
There's a-
Legislation allows them to do that.
Right, but you need to get somebody to legislate. People vote.
It's not
We need
vote.
somebody.
we need to,
It's a group of people. and
Well,
it's
you need a
difficult, and then
group of.
politics comes
But
in
no.
and-
You know what? Because you saw what we saw in Louisiana, which is coming up next. That a one black female senator put a bill together and got the laws changed in Louisiana with that
I
abortion.
thought she wrote the law. for
That's
the
what I'm
abortion.
saying. She wrote it. So if you get one senator to write it and get everybody else to buy in.
And again, that's generically. She's probably a co-author. but,
No, they
you
didn't
know,
say co-author in that
That's
story.
because the more salacious it is in the news, the more you'll more likely
Oh,
to
use the
listen.
black woman to screw the black woman. I get
Yes,
it.
to-
No,
to
that
be
black
like-
woman, she had her back. Like, no.
to be like it's
You
a
can get it.
it's a black woman who wrote it, guys. So it's not racist.
and that black woman
Right.
came and said, no, babe, you're covered. got you.
Listeners, let me help you out with what this backstory is about. In the state of Louisiana, there was a young woman who had a pregnancy. Her and her boyfriend had 3 other children.
They might as well just get married.
No. Why would we do that? That would be too much like government rights.
I know that, and Dana don't believe in that. So
Yeah,
I
you don't believe in the
I
government.
don't believe in marriage.
In the government.
No, you don't believe in the government. They
Government.
believe in marriage.
Is
They're
my
just not
microphone on?
recognized by the
By the
government.
government. They said, we are married
Yeah, she did had a scarf on and he had dreads. That makes sense.
in our head. I cannot with you. I'm trying. Listeners, I'm trying my best.
Those are those kind of people.
You know, holding this show on
where
the
we're like,
rails.
we don't need the government to tell us. Only when it's time to get
Money,
separate some
to
things
get some money.
When you need that child support, you definitely need the government.
I need the government.
I need
Then
the government.
he won't pay, and we broke
but
up.
Before that,
We don't need the government.
We don't need the government to tell us that we're in love. All right.
That we're married.
Yeah, we're
Okay,
married.
and running a household together. We don't need a piece of paper from the government.
What man was able to sell that dream?
You're the one preaching
Hello?
it every episode.
I cannot
What
I
episode
appreciate
is
every
this?
episode.
This is
I
unbelievable.
respect marriage.
Can
Do
we
you
respect
the government? That's what we keep asking
When
you.
it benefit me, duh. When I get that Trump check and them Joe Biden tax credits,
And it says,
I wish I would have got them Joe Biden tax credits on my actual. Like, I don't need that extra money during the year. Like,
you need it at the end.
I need it at the end. I want all my money all at once.
That's your savings bank.
Exactly.
Your savings
Just take
and
that
loan.
money and just put it in my savings.
That's my
account.
savings and loan. Okay.
Yeah.
Every year the
Don't
government.
give it to me.
saves
That
the
money
money
be
for
spent
me.
because it's like, oh, let me figure out what else
You
I can
finish
spend
it.
on.
Yeah, you finish it at
Yeah,
front.
give
You
me
finish
all
it.
at the one
you
time.
You go to Walmart and you say, well, I can pick up an extra. Next thing you know,
let me tell you something. I can hold on to some money, honey. But when
Wally
it's like-
World will take a cover charge from you. It used to be
Exactly.
$50. Now it's $100. Don't go in there unless you got $100. Because no matter what you're gonna pick up a few things for, you're gonna spend $100.
I was on Facebook and they had like a bag of groceries and it was like this big on the meme. $200.
No, that one is not as funny as the one I saw where the person said they put in $5 on pump 5. They want to know where they going from pump 5 to pump 6.
I'm only putting no matter what.
Hey, $5 ain't gonna get you,
ain't gonna get you
other
nowhere.
than from pump 5 to pump
Listen,
6.
I've been
okay?
putting $20 in my tank. Gas was $1.20, and that 20 used to fill it up. Now I get it to the halfway.
And now you get to pump 5.
$20, no matter, straight 20.
He said with that 20 I can get from one
But
pump
when
to
I
the
get
next.
my Wrangler, it's gonna be. They said the Wranglers don't do bad.
Girl,
on these.
every SUV is a gas guzzler. Stop
I
the
don't
madness.
think the Wranglers do
No,
that
that's
bad
what you
on
justify when you want to buy something. That's okay.
That
Tell
car
yourself,
note.
lie to yourself.
That car note real high. I'm gonna need to use some of your credit.
To credit. Whew. You wish.
I'm gonna need some. My mama, she got 1% on her car.
Oh my goodness, Mama's stealing from the folks. You know what she like, bright and day. Oh, let me not say it. Okay, that's why Mama got 1%. Your mama can go in and say, "Excuse
my
me."
mama gonna have to buy my car.
They
for
be
me.
like,
Can I
"Ma'am."
get some of your percentage, mama? She
How
came.
are
She told me,
you?
"Oh, I just spend 1% for my interest rate on my car."
And she complaining?
No,
Oh, okay. I was gonna say.
I was like, "Dang, I need some."
Listeners, before we digress, in
Oh.
Louisiana, there's
talk
a
about it.
woman
Let's talk
that
about
I
it.
was talking about that has a pregnancy which she needed to get rid of. She needed an abortion. She was advised that the child had some cranial disorder and that the cranial disorder, acrania is what they refer to it as, the child was going to die immediately after birth. So they recommended termination of the pregnancy. She went to her medical provider, listeners, and the medical provider said, nope, we're not doing the procedure because of the new Louisiana law. It might be deemed a crime if we terminate that pregnancy for you. So she's all over the place trying to get help. Rescue came in the form of Ben Crump. Attorney Crump has decided to assist her with getting an abortion in another state. And he's also petitioning for the state of Louisiana to call a special session to go and clarify the legislation for the medical providers in the state of Louisiana. Now, here's where I think that is
Wait.
dangerous.
Wait, hold on. You ain't finished telling the rest of the story.
Well, the rest of the story is she's gotten so far donated to her $25,000.
Okay, the story before
and
that.
she's going to use the $25,000 to go to another state. She does not want to
dumb as
get the abortion no longer in Louisiana. She's going to go to another state where she trusts medical providers to understand the laws.
I guess you're going to have to say that on camera. You can't say, I'm going to use this $25,000 to buy me a Birkin bag. You can't say that.
She got to get rid of the baby
first. I guess you got to, it doesn't make sense.
Well, it does. If you don't trust.
You didn't finish telling the story.
What part of the story would you
They contact
like?
the legislator who authored the bill.
They didn't say one of. They said the legislator.
Well, we're gonna go that the
How about we report it the way
when the media makes a statement, more times than not they be wrong. So,
pursuant to the story that we watched.
I'm still knowing that blunt was hot. And it was like 6 hours later.
Pursuant to the story,
according to AJC, that blunt was hot
she was
6
the
hours
author
later.
of the abortion bill, and it was a black female in Louisiana who authored it. They went to her and say, "Go fix it," because these people
And what did she
are
say?
confused. And she says, "Oh, they misinterpreted it."
She said
they
read it
okay.
wrong.
The law is right
Because
they read it wrong.
Exactly.
So if they
Which
read
they
it
did.
wrong when a female in their state has an
Before you get
ectopic
on
pregnancy,
before you
let me get on my soapbox. Let me get on my soapbox.
Because we need to set the baseline before you hop on your
Well,
pedestal.
go on with your baseline.
The
then.
baseline is that they contact the state legislator. The state legislator said the medical people misinterpret the bill. They are incorrect. You can get an abortion. So all of these frustrations that you had would never exist if you went to a doctor who knew how to read. So that is what happened. And so there is no...
How much that cost?
Huh? Boom.
How much does what
Who's
cost?
paying for the new doctor that I have to go to? If I have to keep finding a doctor that knows the law, because
That's
that one
not
is
what
affiliated with
that's
that
what I'm
facility,
saying.
and that one's affiliated with
I
that.
was being facetious when I said who knows how to read. All I was saying is that they read it wrong.
No. You're not being facetious. You're being for real. Because for real,
I said
if
who
you
knows how
have
to
to
read.
find one that can read and understand, and you cannot, and you have an ectopic pregnancy, time is of the essence. Because if the pregnancy,
you making up the story. She don't have an ectopic pregnancy.
Okay, listen to me. The reason why you ask legislators to clarify statutes that can be misinterpreted, and it's clear that this one can be misinterpreted because it was misinterpreted.
Or maybe they just heard no abortions in Louisiana. Oh, we can't do an abortion instead of actually reading the law.
Listen to me. People could die while you are waiting on medical providers to comprehend an abortion statute. That's why Ben Crump is asking them to fix it. I am certain he's not just saying...
What has to be fixed when the law says if you have a medical issue, you can have an abortion?
No,
what
ma'am.
else needs to be fixed?
You have to read the statute first before you say it doesn't need fixing. Because if it's vague and it can be misinterpreted, it's an easy stroke.
Right there.
It's an easy...
That's not the actual text. This is an assumption of what the text says.
Oh, okay.
So my point is...
So the person who read it can make an assumption that says blah, blah, blah. And these are supposed to be medical professionals. The assumption says...
We have to think about something a little bit more, and which is capitalism. So they don't want to have to pay any attorney, anything. So they say, here, we don't do any, even if it qualifies.
Correct.
None of
I'm
it.
going to protect
But that's
myself.
an assumption, not an evidence.
No,
So-
we're talking about the medical provider who she went to, who
but all of
interpreted
those
the law
are
as...
assumptions,
Yeah, but
not
they
evidence.
assumed I will go
How
to
about
jail.
we just read what the law says, and we can maybe we'll all get a different interpretation.
Hey, and that's the problem. Law is not
We
supposed to
don't
have
know
different
because we haven't read it.
interpretations.
We don't know if it says if there is a medical issue that prevents the baby from having life, you can get an abortion.
And their
We don't know if it
point
says that.
is the baby is alive as long as we leave the baby. When the baby dies on its own, it will die on its own when it comes out. That's what their interpretation is. Because remember, the child is still going to be born. The disorder that the child has is that the brain is not being the skull is not being properly developed. So they're telling her as soon as the baby comes out, the baby is going to die within at least 10 hours of the birth of the baby.
How long is she pregnant?
Who cares? There's something wrong. Why should I have to carry a pregnancy that you know medically has a problem to please who?
Maybe if you do an abortion after a certain time, it might.
I don't care.
Can you let me finish my statement?
If I'm pregnant and this baby is
like-
going to kill me, please take it if I'm 9 months, 29 months, or 39 months.
If you're pregnant,
I want to live.
The baby will kill you for getting an abortion. Don't you want to just, you know how they say when the baby is stillborn, you have to deliver the baby. Maybe you can't get an abortion. Maybe you have to just deliver the baby. You know what I'm saying?
Well, could you put me in labor and take
That's
this
what I'm
baby?
saying.
I don't care how you take it.
Maybe
Could
she
you
can't
please
get an
take it?
abortion. Maybe she has to
Ma'am,
deliver.
as far as the law is concerned, any way you take that baby, it's an abortion. If you didn't let it come out on its own and die on its own. Okay? So what I'm saying is if you have a legislation that can be misinterpreted, it's easy to fix. So I am disappointed in this black female
I'm
senator,
disappointed with her.
counselor, whoever she is.
Clarified.
No, boo. I need her to go do a campaign then. Go to all the medical offices in your state.
Maybe that's what she
and
is doing.
clarify for them
She probably did
what
that.
it is. How about you do that?
That's what happened.
Okay? That didn't happen. That's Crump coming for them, and he's about to get a lawsuit against them because he's going to argue. Because he's going to say if it can be misinterpreted, it has to be fixed.
Oh, so
and
when
if,
you say lawsuit, you ain't saying money. You just saying just to change some things.
yeah, you can file a suit to change some things. You don't have to actually, every suit is not necessarily about give me some money. Because remember, you can even file a writ of mandamus against a government official to force them to
Why
act.
wouldn't she just give them their money back?
Why wouldn't she just go fix the statute so it's clear and say medical providers, here's another sentence. If the pregnancy, for whatever reason, is deformed,
It's not viable.
let it go. Fix that. What you peeing, girl?
But what if that's what it says?
Trust me, if it said that, then it sounds as if that must have been a
Doctors is dumb.
medical provider who, for whatever religious reason, or might be Diva's daddy, don't want to do the medical procedure because they
Why not?
believe
What medical
that
procedure?
every woman should carry every pregnancy based on your mindset.
Whose daddy said that?
Your daddy must be the doctor
Why he gotta be the doctor?
because you the one that don't want nobody to have a baby terminated under any circumstances.
That's not what I said.
Oh, really? Well,
I
clarify
just
for the
said
listeners because
stop
they are
using-
listening.
I said don't use pregnancies as birth control. That's all I said.
Oh, so now that they're using against her and saying don't use it as birth control, then what? Because that's what this medical provider is saying.
Use pregnancies as birth control. I had to just make sure that I cleared my
Actually,
throat.
you
and
could
made sure
use
it was-
pregnancies as birth control because other people can see you and be like, I don't want that. Your younger sisters might look at you like you pregnant and you miss out on everything in life. I don't want that. That's birth
Look,
control.
I just think it's irresponsible to pass legislation. But you know what? Sometimes the problem is that the person who is actually the senator is not an attorney. They're not really smart. There are people who don't have nothing better to do with their time, and they decide, vote for me, vote for me, vote for me. And they take a position they're not qualified to have. They cannot clarify because they're not really well educated, and I hate to say it. And then
So are
they're
you
a
saying
senator.
that Katrina, the legislator, is not educated?
I'm saying it's a potential. She's not. A piece of paper on the wall does not mean you're
Allegedly.
intelligent.
I
Allegedly.
think that this is a bigger question of like the trouble of legislation. Like you cannot
Touch it.
write anything to be clear
Cover
enough
for everything.
for everything.
Mm.
Okay?
There's only a few, and even then, if you look at murder, I mean, we do a
Better
pretty
job
good
with it.
at murder
Because when you're
it's-
dead, you're dead.
It's easier to define. It's like with intent to do and
Bodily
kill
harm.
and that kind of stuff, right? So those are uniform words that haven't changed, but some of these things have changed. So like willful, or that is what is it like?
Malicious.
Impending, or I'm sorry, like exigent circumstances, or
Yeah. Tough.
like immediate.
Another
bodily
problem you
harm.
have too is that the education is watered down a lot.
Well, that
And now it's worse because now it's being
I don't think it's.
politicized.
I don't think it's the What do you mean the education? How tough it is to write the law, or
No, how tough it is to educate the population on something.
But
because you have, I think social
There's no
media.
class that says, all right, if you decide to murder someone,
No.
if there's
No.
these
For
set
example,
of circumstances,
For example, when
then
you
you'll get
use
murder
a word
one.
like
If it's
exigent.
safe.
technically a class like that, but
No, when
They
you
don't
use
have
a
it in,
word like
high
exigent,
school.
I know.
where in high
And
school
that's
are
the
they
ones
teaching
who they
that?
killing. That's what the ones
But,
that don't go to high school.
Well,
Where they teaching that word?
They're not teaching
exigent.
in high school.
so that's the thing. What does exigent mean?
Correct.
Like if I, for
Immediate.
example, let's use what we talked about last week with the girl who is allegedly the one who shot up everyone at the Midtown place.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Is that-
She could deem that situation exigent because they have broken into her home
Yeah.
and
Right.
they can cause her harm. Right.
Correct.
Right.
When someone could say no because they didn't actually.
They weren't at the door.
They weren't at the
there.
door.
Right.
And they didn't threaten you there.
Right.
But so exigent isn't well enough defined
Nope.
in order to get you into where you need to be. That's why it's really hard
To legislate
stuff,
everything.
right? And that's why the judiciary, which
Everything and everyone.
had this
Yeah.
notion of like,
That's just legislated.
the legislator needs
You know
to do their
what?
job.
Right.
According to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right, there is a baseline. So you have at the bottom, you have shelter, you have food, you have, things like that. So in her circumstance, they affected her income, which affects her food and affects her shelter. They enter into her house.
Life, liberty, and the
What
pursuit of
right.
happiness. It's in the
What
Constitution.
affects her housing, her baseline, all her baseline needs have been shattered.
Her life.
Her life has been shattered. So when you are,
Threatening her life, she can feel like she got to defend herself.
there you go.
Self-defense again, huh?
Whoop, there it is.
We need to be our lawyers.
We might need to go down there.
Hey.
Shoot, I might dust off my paralegal degree.
Certificate. Yeah.
Take it on down there.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
I thought
we
that
are
would
wanted
be-
to say something?
I thought that would have been a better way to continue a conversation. But
Well,
y'all
what
just wanna
conversation would
leave
you
that.
like to have?
Like how you should legislate those things. Like
Oh.
how can you write?
how can we
that?
help them?
How could you write an abortion bill that encompasses everything that you need? Because people think it's really simple.
It's not that simple.
Oh, let me make it real simple.
Okay, give us one.
No abortions.
Wow.
That's fine. And then when the situation arises
No,
for someone,
I'm not saying it like
no,
that.
no,
was
I
a
understand,
jokey
but I'm
joke.
saying that's what some people believe, right?
Yeah.
But even then, if you write it that way, like, fine, right? Who gets to determine when the exceptions are? Should it be the legislator, or should we let the courts who are
I
dealing
have
with
an idea.
situations-
We wake up the Senate every night and have a number that they have to answer for the medical providers at
Is
the
this
emergency
okay?
room. Is this okay now?
That
How
would
about
be
now?
a great idea. Like
How about now?
when it's time to
Yeah, to make a determination.
on
Hey, we
whether
have
or not
this. We
somebody
have this
lives
lady
in it.
here.
Yeah.
And we just want to make sure it's clear. So could you tell us? Is this a time when?
Wait,
Oh, they'd be
hold
so
on.
tired of getting phone
Can
calls.
You put that in writing. Can you send this in a text message? I'm gonna need you to send me a text.
Yeah, mom.
Mom. Yes.
Yeah.
You may
Get
have
him
an
up.
abortion.
Give them a phone that they have to answer 24/7, and each night they rotate, and it'll be your night. Like when
There you
doctors
go.
are on call,
Or
senator on call.
when the governor has to make the decision on whether or not the red phone.
Clemency.
Yeah.
How about that?
There
How
you go.
about that? I
We
bet
solved
they
the
would.
problem.
They would.
And you know what? On
They
that
would figure
note,
it out.
we gonna have to
They would
fix it.
figure it out, wouldn't they? We just solved
Wait,
all
did
the
you want to
problems in
continue or
Louisiana.
something? You want to continue? Is that what you? Let's wrap this shit up. What you trying to do? What you got to say? What you-
just because it's Labor Day weekend. Just because it's Labor Day weekend. And
She
you're
in a
trying-
hurry.
you're
She
trying
wanna get to that
the
queue.
I'm trying to get-
speech
I'm
real
trying to
quick.
get to that
Hey,
barbecue.
that barbecue. That barbecue.
What you trying to do now?
That
Come on
barbecue
now.
getting cold.
Them ribs is glistening. What we doing now?
Just
What you got to say,
leave
Mr. Producer?
the people wanting
Hey,
more.
they got to want
Deliver
more.
a little bit.
Look, when she done licking her fingers with the barbecue off of it, she'll be back.
Jeez Louise.
Ladies and gentlemen, find us each week. We are pushing out all this funny and your edutainment. Find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts,
Apple,
and Google Podcasts.
Google us.
Don't forget to find our episodes every Wednesday on YouTube as we push them out for you. Tell us what you want to talk about. Tell us what you want to hear about. There's a point of view for all of you on Diva Court.
You know what I want to hear?
What you want to hear?
We always find Black people who being harassed by the police. We need to find like a white person. So we could be an equal opportunity show.
Guess what? If you're white and the police is harassing you, probably because your kids are Black. If your kids are not Black, check your cupboard. Your husband's probably Black. And if your husband's not Black, you got a Black family member somewhere.
Is that where you put your? Is that where white women put their Black husbands?
Yeah, in the closet.
In the cupboard.
In the cupboard.
They put them in the cupboard.
Check your cupboards.
Check your cupboard.
Check your cupboards for your colors.
Hide your wives. I still don't understand why we can't be called colored. Because we come in a lot
Hey,
of
let me
different
tell you
ways.
something.
You don't want to be called colored?
Just don't call me late for my money.
You can call me anything you want, but don't
I believe what the producer said. Words are empty, and I fill them in any way I desire. So I could care less what you call me.
Sticks and stones. Like that should be the
Let me tell you something. I was,
we about to start a whole new show.
I was raised on self-esteem. On self-esteem.
Yes.
One comedian said, is esteem of your fucking self. Okay? It doesn't come from out there. It comes from in here. Yeah. So if you have self-esteem, check yourself. That's where your esteem should come from.
That is true.
Okay? Teach your kids where self-esteem comes
Sticks
from.
and stones. What happened to that?
Self.
What happened?
Nobody
Sticks and
says that
stones
anymore.
May break
no,
my bones.
They said,
but
she
words will
hurt
never
my
hurt me.
feelings with
know.
words.
I'm going to have to teach my kids that because I don't want to hear nobody crying. Like, well, are you stupid? No. So stop it. Get mad.
Yeah, yeah. If somebody said you were an elephant, would you cry? No, because you're not an elephant. Okay?
That's the funny thing. But I want to be an
I
elephant.
But I want to.
No, that's the funny thing. If I kept calling you like a carrot, right? And I was like, you carrot. You like,
Would that make you a carrot?
you like, no. But after a minute, you be like, hold on, call me a carrot again. We gonna have to
Call me
fight.
a carrot again. Let's see what's going to happen.
It might turn into your N-word.
You just a
never
carrot.
know.
This carrot.
You be like, yo,
This carrot over here.
this
Yeah.
carrot.
He be
you like,
tripping.
We're going to have to make him a broccoli.
It's all about energy.
Yeah,
if
it
you-
is.
If
Yeah,
you
it
come
is.
with that energy, that's okay.
Yeah, you can
Oh,
make anything have a meaning.
Oh, okay. I
You
got
can make
you.
anything have a
We
meaning.
gonna
Context,
I got you.
context, and energy is what determines what.
You
a
know
word
what I
is.
tell people? Like, stop being weak. Like, you just going to let him mess with your emotions like that? You
Yeah,
weak.
take control of yourself.
Control yourself. You can't let them have this much power over you.
Yes.
It's a form of weakness.
So,
Toughen up.
as we say here on Diva Court, keep your power,
Stop
and we
being
will drink to that.
Are we finished or are we done?
We both. We got to drink to that.